Hello, everyone. Welcome to Constantly Connected. I'm Coach Tim, and
I am Coach Sheba.
yes. Great to have you. Great to have you. So tell us, explain to us where Ashley, as we see the affirmation queen. Um, yeah, talk to us more about the affirmation queen and what it is that you're bringing to this episode.
Okay, well, yes. I wanted to incorporate positive self affirmations into us educating our viewers and our listeners. Um, Positive self affirmations. Who taught you how to love yourself? Because we all know, um, well, some of us know,
Yeah,
some
right.
people know.
Yeah, not a
Um,
lot.
what affirmations really are and how you can incorporate them into your life to ultimately change your life.
Hmm.
But there are many that do not know, that are not aware of
Hmm.
what they are. And so I decided to incorporate them to educate everyone on what they are and how you can use them on a daily basis.
Okay. Okay. What exactly are positive self affirmations?
So positive self affirmations are positive statements that we make.
Hmm.
Um, Not negative. Okay, they are positive statements that we make that will help us, and it challenges us to overcome any type of self-sabotaging that we may find within us.
Hmm.
um a lot of people are, a great majority of us Americans, we tend to self-sabotage, meaning we speak negatively over
Right.
our lives, our families' lives, over our situations, and we don't know the real impact that speaking negative statement, comments, whatever you're talking about has
Hmm.
on us. Like we
Right.
really don't know the effect that it has,
Right.
because whatever you're speaking into the atmosphere, it comes back.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. Right.
so I'm here to give a better understanding of what positive affirmations are. It's a positive thought process. It's
Hmm.
just what it is.
Right.
And it is a thought process, that um, is present. It's not something about the past. It's not something necessarily about the future. It is how you think and how you feel and how you act in the very present.
Right. Right. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Got you.
mhm. I wanted to get, the information out to people because, I see and have heard a lot of individuals use self positive affirmations as a way of prayer,
Hmm.
and it's not praying. They can't be used in a way of prayer like most people in our
Hmm.
society are using them, because you're not placing yourself, you,
Hmm.
at the center of it.
Hmm.
You're
Right.
placing something outside of you
Right.
at the center of it, and
Right.
so they don't work. When you do that, you
Right.
have to look inside yourself and know who you are as a person, what you want, great intentions for your own life in order for self positive affirmations to work. It's just really manifesting is what it is.
Right. Right. Well, and that's the thing that you can't. When we talk about the name itself,
Hmm.
self positive self affirmations.
Hmm.
You can't affirm something that's not yourself.
Right.
And with prayer, you're asking something that's not you to do something when even within biblical text it comes back to them affirming I am,
Right.
you know and so
Because not, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but to have you stop right there, I am is a statement affirming who you are, what you are.
Mhm.
Um, Yeshua, Jesus in the Bible affirmed over and over and over who he was.
Yeah.
He affirmed who we were
Yeah.
as individuals. He affirmed that in the Bible that most people miss. They're taking it for prayer, that he
Mhm.
was praying, but it
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily him praying. It was him affirming, I am that I am. That
Mhm.
statement alone, everyone needs to be able to affirm that statement, because we all have the creator in us.
Mhm.
And
But
so when we begin to realize that it's really bigger than just any type of self-positive affirmation, you want your self-positive affirmation to coincide with the person that you are,
mhm.
or the person you want to become.
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah.
Exactly. Well, what exactly are some of the benefits of repeating positive self affirmations?
Well, those benefits can include, they help shift your thinking from negative to positive. They motivate an action within you. Maybe it's something that you may have always wanted to do, and
Mhm.
you've procrastinated, you've gotten lazy, maybe you haven't done it. Try speaking positive affirmations over your life, like I am becoming this. Whatever your this is, that
Mhm.
is a positive self affirmation for yourself.
Right,
You are That is a clear intention of what
mhm.
you're wanting to be and do.
Right, right.
um and to have a clear intention about your life.
Mhm.
I am kind, or I am love,
Mhm.
I deserve love. Those are all positive self affirmations, with clear intentions of who you are.
Right.
It gets to the core of who you are. That means you have to be able to sit by
Mhm.
yourself to discover who you are.
Right, right. Yeah, not a lot of people are doing that. That's kind of the deal,
Hmm.
but the thing is like people don't really understand too that you know, this along with visualization and things of that nature, y- y- things you able to actually retrain your brain, because so a person can actually begin to, they may
Hmm.
not believe these things that they say to themselves because of the mindset they particularly have, but this is actually what starts retraining your brain to begin to get this positive thought process. And we've
Right.
covered this in with mental practice and things of that nature on how the mind can't tell the difference between what reality is and what is actually you're
Hmm.
actually thinking. And so you literally can create yourself a new mindset through
Hmm.
repeating these things daily. So it's on a scientific level. It's just not something that a person just hopes it happens. No, if you continue to do
Hmm.
this, you're literally retraining your brain to begin
Right.
to start this process of thinking in a positive fashion.
Absolutely. It's a unlearning. It is a
Hmm.
unlearning practice, or unlearning skill of
Hmm.
everything that you
Hmm.
ever thought you may have known about yourself,
Right,
which
right.
you most 95% of the time, it's something you've been told as a kid, and it's still in your subconscious mind.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
things that you grew up learning from your
yeah,
mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather. And it's still in your subconscious.
yeah.
So it's unlearning all of that stuff, because you didn't know you as a
Right,
child.
right,
And so someone told you who you were,
right.
pretty much.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
in order to
That's right.
unlearn that, yeah, you have to relearn some new things about yourself, like as an adult.
Right. And that's the thing, is that people walk around thinking that they have their own minds, and they're
Hmm.
doing what they want to do, and in the same sentence, they're
Hmm.
concerned about being what other people think, and
Mm-hmm.
what the church thinks, and what the family thinks,
Right.
and what people think. And so now your unconscious is more programmed on what other people think, because that's pretty much what you've been doing all your life.
Right.
But you like to think that you're thinking for yourself, but you're pretty much programmed by
Mm-hmm.
the outside world from the time you come out of the womb. As we know,
Right.
we can get, that's a whole nother podcast we can go into. But as you say, that you have to go through a process of unlearning and relearning who you
Mm-hmm.
want to be, because you don't know. You have been told what you're
Exactly.
supposed to be. And
Yeah, and I think that that's called what, shadow work. That is the
well, yes,
shadow
exactly.
work that a
Yeah, yeah,
person has to be disciplined enough to do. And
yeah,
that is the whole issue with society.
yeah.
Society does not want to do their shadow work on
Right,
themselves.
right,
And
right.
instead, we prefer to blame other
Hmm.
people, other things, the devil.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
blames God for anything bad. So,
Nah, nah. Even though he's omniscient and he knows all, but doesn't get any
yeah,
blame in none of these things. But
right.
that's another subject. But
It is.
but these are things that when a person is living according to these rules,
Hmm.
unconsciously they can plant negative beliefs within your unconscious mind, because
Hmm.
you can consciously tell yourself anything to get yourself to go along with something, but your unconscious, it knows. And generally
Yeah.
these are things when, like, something you might tell yourself that it doesn't bother you, and then as soon as something says something that kind of touches that, the feelings get involved, because unconsciously that actually bothered you, you
Hmm.
know and so, and most people don't, as they say, they don't want their dirty laundry aired, where they keep packing
Hmm.
it away, and
Right.
all it does is keep stinking.
Right.
Literally,
Yeah.
you know, and you walking around with stinking laundry all your life instead of actually cleaning this laundry. And
Hmm.
but then you don't want anyone to call it out when it smells. You
Right.
know, that's the kind of analogy that a lot of people are walking around with right now, because you have a negative mindset,
Hmm.
and you want someone to somehow want to put up with it and understand it somehow, when the person, and they're blaming everyone who doesn't, because they're not
Exactly.
looking at the person who actually is at the center of it all.
Yeah, and I like that analogy that you just stated, because I feel like there's a lot of people smelling right now.
Yeah, very much so. Very much
People are
so. And
smelling.
yeah, and
I
they're trying to
mean,
put cologne. They're trying to put cologne on instead of taking a real shower. We keep
right.
trying to cover up the smell instead of actually getting to the root of this and scrubbing this stuff off, because that
Yeah,
takes work, and you have to get naked literally to do it. You have to
absolutely.
strip
And
yourself of all the things that you think,
hmm
that you
hmm
trying to run away from, and trying to tell yourself it's someone else, and
right.
blamed everything else in the world, and your boyfriend and your mama,
Yeah,
and everything else too. And then you have to look at that one person in the mirror, because it still comes back just like I am. Then
right.
I am the person I
That's
have to
right.
look
That's right.
at.
And I am, it can be just as positive as it can be negative. We
Exactly.
say we say I am a lot to negativity.
Right.
And
Right.
when we say that, it brings the negativity back to us,
Of course. Of
because
course.
that's just
More.
how affirming is going to do. It is
Right.
a manifestation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What you
people not
speak.
realizing what manifestation is truly,
Hmm. Hmm.
it is a bringing back of what you have put out into the universe.
Exactly. And the thing is people don't want to see their creator's power. We keep trying to get people to
Hmm.
understand that you have the creator's powers within you, but then, they'll say things like, I'm gonna speak it into existence and things like
Hmm.
that. And they've known they've done it, but still don't
Yeah,
believe in their own power. Still don't believe
exactly.
that if you actually focused on this and you actually tapped into your actual powers and you had your mind focused on something positive all the time, you will be creating something positive all the time.
All the
If you
time.
keep speaking negative things all the time, well, the universe is going to give you more of what you ask for. And
Exactly.
these are the laws, of the universe, and
Hmm.
kind of encapsulated without getting into all the principles, that what your mind puts out, you receive more back. And
Hmm.
generally, if you're confirming all of these things that you have going on within your mind, with these positive or negative thoughts, pretty much you're producing
Hmm.
that pretty much that environment that you pretty much speak into existence.
Exactly, because I do want to point out that affirmations and positive self affirmations. It's not so much about what you believe you to
Right.
be or what you believe in. It's more about what you know you to
Mhm.
be. You can't use it in a way where it's not present tense. Like, and
Exactly.
I'm gonna go over the three P's of that a little bit later, but
Which,
you can't
well,
use
we're gonna do it right now because that's my next question. What are the actual three P's? Because
the three
they're
P's.
important.
Yeah, they're very important. It is
Mhm.
recognizing, acknowledging that it is positive self affirmations are present tense. They are not something that has already happened. They are in the moment. How
Right.
you think and feel in the moment about yourself that
Right.
will change your future. You know,
Hmm.
um, the second one is personal. You have to make it personal.
Right.
You can't give yourself or say a positive affirmation for yourself and it doesn't reside in you. You can't, it doesn't resonate with you.
Well, you're gonna have to stick on that one again because see that is the sticking point with people who
Mhm.
don't either believe in themselves or want to take accountability for their lives, so they want to keep affirming. We just touched on it earlier, but they want to talk about prayer
Mhm.
because they don't believe in the power within them, so they keep asking for something outside of them to do
Mhm.
everything for them when they're not looking within to use the power of their own electromagnetic field within their heart, which I've done these podcasts and talked about how your body actually produces these magnetic fields to
Mhm.
bring these things into existence. And this is exactly what Yeshua was trying to explain to people,
Yep.
as an energy healer.
Mhm.
But again, if people keep affirming things, because it actually comes down at the end of the day where a lot of people just cannot believe in themselves that this has to be, it's within them, even though they speak on various things. I have a positive mindset again. I'm going to speak it into existence. I'm going to do all these things, but
Mhm.
until that person raise their vibration up and start looking at themselves and say, I am the creator of my destiny. I am
Exactly.
this power. I'm a powerful being. Until they start
Mhm.
looking at themselves in the mirror and knowing that,
Right.
you can't conceive anything. You're a person with a money
Exactly.
with money, $10,000 in the bank, but don't believe you deserve to have it.
Exactly. You can't you cannot take away the fact that you are one with everything.
Exactly.
We are all one with everything.
Exactly.
Things
Exactly.
things God made, we are all one with it because we are all in the mind of God,
Like,
the creator of the universe.
yeah, yeah.
We
But you
are
see
all
now,
in the mind.
but see
So
now,
we cannot separate. We
exactly.
can't separate ourselves from the spirit, the frequency, the energy that he has placed in us. He
Exactly.
placed it in us for a reason. Okay. We can't keep looking outside of us to determine our worth. If we're going to be
Hmm.
happy today, if we're going to be sad tomorrow, we can't keep doing that because it's
Right.
not getting us anywhere. We
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
look inside of us, and there we will find the spirit of the Most High, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
in us.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And
It
the
allows
thing
us
is,
to do whatever we want to do.
well, not only it's in us, it's everything is if they understood the science. And I understand when I get to talking about these things, and people don't necessarily know the laws of the universe, they haven't known the
Mm-hmm.
principles. They don't, like we've talked before. Like I understand why people don't understand what the all is, what the
Mm-hmm.
actual creator is, because we are within that creator's mind. It's everything is mental, which is why you
Mm-hmm.
are able to create everything with your mental, because as above so
Exactly.
below. He gives us a fraction of the creator's spirit, his power within us, because we are within an image of that particular mental state that he created us
Right.
in.
Right.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
why come everything is mental. Your whole universe
Mm-hmm.
is created mental because we were created through mental thought process of the creator.
Exactly.
And so it's
Yep.
but people can't accept it because when you have something that's someone sitting down in judgment, or you telling you things, you have this idea of something that's totally away from actually how things actually work.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at things as a court, almost like you in court, in
Mm-hmm.
life, like you waiting to be judged, as
Right.
opposed to being here to have an experience that the creator has created us to come and find how we create ourselves, how we
Right.
use the same energy that he used to create the universe in us. We are here for this journey to also learn, you know,
Right.
but you can't learn in these journeys when you're not, first of all, you don't know who I am. And that's what it comes down
Exactly.
to, you know.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
have to know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The third P is going to be positive, of course.
Gotta have it.
Being aspirational. You have to make them feel like they are authentic to your core principal values.
They do. They do. They do. But
So
because they don't resonate.
it doesn't.
But then that's also sometimes why you have to go in. Well, it's not sometimes you have to go in and do the shadow work because your principal values may not match with
Hmm.
a positive mindset,
Right.
because generally they don't. Most of the values of people who are given, they're given to you by someone else. They're not, are they the values that you hold?
Right.
And so a lot of times again
Yeah.
that comes back with that shadow work where we got to make sure that your thought process on how you're
Hmm.
creating these things are what is within you, not what
Exactly.
you know
Yeah, because
something else
if
being programmed within you.
you can't say you want love if you don't know how to love.
Well, that's the
That
problem.
what you
People haven't
can't
learned how to love
say.
themselves.
Exactly. You can't say you want financial freedom if you're not doing the things in order to get to that point.
Yeah.
You can't say that you want, a better life and all of this other stuff that people like to say that they want, but they're
Right.
not taking the steps in order to get to that point.
Well, that
There's always a process.
that's action. Basically, without action, pretty much,
Yeah,
prayer was pretty much dead, as they say, because people
exactly.
have been programmed to sit and wait on something to come do for them, as
Right.
opposed to having the withdrawal within themselves to have the faith was within them, and then taking the actions that within them will create what it is they're looking for and manifest things in their life
Right.
come from what's from the inside, not from the outside. And that's the
Exactly.
key. You know,
Right.
I guess that kind of
And
brings
like
me.
we said, I'm sorry, like we said before, Yeshua, he taught these things.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
taught self-affirming. He taught who you are.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
taught that God's spirit is in every one of us and in everything. From creatures, small and big, to everything,
Mhm,
to the trees that gives
mhm,
us oxygen, to every
mhm.
single thing, the sea that provides fish. I mean,
Yes.
everything.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he knew that, and
Mhm.
he tried to
It
teach
knew
that.
that. It knew that because we always have to be careful that it's
Right,
not a gender. It is
right,
not. It's a frequency, and so even
right.
though it's a habit for people to use that as a terminology, but it's something that we can't conceive, but we're within it, and it's
Hmm.
and it's not a male or female. It is a frequency,
Yeah, it's an
and
energy.
it's an
Yeah,
enlightened
the energy.
frequency
Hmm.
that people have to tune into, and people don't get that either because they're not meditating, because that's the communication that you have with the enlightened one. You
Right,
know, and this is written in, I posted scriptures and it's all throughout. This is using manifestation. You didn't say pray to me. You said to
right.
meditate, and I shall
Meditate.
communicate.
That's
And
right.
so, when you go within and allow the creator to descend the frequency, because again, you can't tune into this frequency when you're on a low vibration. You
Exactly.
have to increase your vibration, which is things like this,
Hmm.
increase your
Hmm.
vibration. But those that have a lower vibration, which most are walking around, and if anybody looked at my podcast,
Hmm.
things I've done on examples, like they're too low on the vibrational scale to even conceive the point
Hmm.
that I can actually contact through my mind. I can test a frequency that's within me, that I can tap into the source.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
when they think of it being above them, well, yes, it's above them. It's above you within the frequency above your mind. And in your mind
Right.
that you're tapping into a higher frequency. So they're not
Hmm.
looking at frequencies, they're literally looking at something that's, well, something above the sky, where there's nothing else besides the universe out there. It continues to
Right.
go. that's some man standing out there at the total end
Mhm.
of this thing, looking down,
Mhm.
telling, and because it is, this is a whole nother story on. He got some serious power,
Yeah.
which it just doesn't make any sense because we know that's not true. But this is the only
Exactly.
thing a person can be left in their mind because they don't know the science of actually what's happening to go
Right.
along with man's manipulation over years to use judgment to tell a
Mhm.
person that if you don't do what we say, then this is why, this imaginary God, imaginary man would tell you.
Mhm.
And these are a lot of
Yeah.
times again that, we touch on this because a lot of times a person, they have to go within themselves and stop believing in them instead of walking around your whole life hoping that something outside of you was going to do something. And that's an unconscious program that you have. You've been
Right.
basically deprogrammed to believe that you capable of doing anything. You have to
Mhm.
have something outside of you. And if it doesn't, well, it just wasn't his way. It wasn't God's
Mhm.
will. No, it wasn't will
Right.
because you didn't tap into the God in you. That's what it's saying. You have
That's
to
right.
look within you.
Yeah.
But when again, we know with all of the years, we read too many books, too many things. We know that this is a control mechanism. But if
Mhm.
people want to take control of their lives, so you can say these positive affirmations all you want to, but
Mhm.
until you go inside of you and actually start doing some unpacking,
Mhm.
you start looking at some of these things like,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel like you're spinning your wheels. I mean, it's great to do, but you
Mhm.
also have to want to look at yourself and
Mhm.
understand why you're doing this, that you need to be letting some negativity go. And don't
Yeah.
speak on things you don't want. Think on things you
Right.
do.
Right. And that's a part of discovering your will. Like you said, people don't
Hmm.
realize that it is your will
Yeah.
that is going to get you through your life.
Well, that's what it
It,
said. God's will, God's within you. But they speaking on the outside when it's
exactly.
God's within you. The God with
Exactly.
if you are willing to do so, it is your
Right.
will. You will will to do so.
That's
But
right.
again, they have to take this thing that has been
Yeah.
programmed and move it inside of them.
Right.
But first, you have to start looking at yourself and know that you are, that
Hmm.
you're capable of this because you are.
Yeah.
It's just you just right now you're on a mentality of a lower vibration that
Right.
makes it hard for you to actually conceive that because and this is by design. When things
Mm-hmm.
around you are telling you need medications to be well, you need the church to be well, you need everything
Mm-hmm.
besides anything you can do.
Right.
That's what the matrix says we call it has it, where you need them.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the creator has created everything, for you to only need yourself. You can heal
Right.
yourself. You basically, a lot of the time you're doing things because of the mindset you have. When you change your
Right.
mindset, you change your life. And so
Exactly.
that in itself, if you change your life, why would you need these people outside puppeting you?
Exactly. It is you that is doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it is. It is.
And not only do positive self-affirming, help you as far as moving from one place in your life to the next. It helps with any
Mhm.
type of dis-ease that you may have in your body.
Yeah,
It gets in control of your emotional state, which is something we
exactly.
always are educating people with now. Your
Exactly.
emotional state that
Emotional
everybody
energy.
walks around
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
their
Yeah.
emotions.
That
No one can control their emotions.
well, especially when they don't know, they have no idea how it's being manipulated and know
Mhm.
anything about it. They just and most people are programmed to totally react to it and think it's correct.
Right.
Oh, I'm doing it. I just tune right into that negative
Yeah.
vibration and I showed them. And all you
Right.
don't know, you just lowered yourself and your mindset. But this is your program.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. So it
Yeah.
helps with this ease in your body. I mean,
Hmm.
we have seen many things now and we have heard of many stories now of individuals healing their bodies with their minds.
Well,
It's
here, I mean, let's forget this is me here, the Enrique
exactly.
practitioner doing himself.
Exactly. You do it
I live this
yourself.
life, but we're trying to educate people on the science of it's not
Right.
who it's actually science, but
Right.
you know, um,
It is
this is
science
the
behind this.
yes.
And we haven't really gotten into the science of it yet, but we're going to get into the science of it because it's
Yeah, yeah.
science behind this that people don't even realize.
Well, yeah, that brings me to my next question. Like, so how soon could you see positive self affirmations like manifesting in a person's life?
And you can see positive self affirmations as early as 4 weeks in a person's life. It could be sooner, it could be later. It just
Mhm.
depends on how you are affirming. If you're consistent, if you're disciplined in doing the shadow work
Yeah,
and
yeah,
affirming for yourself every single day, because it is an everyday process. It is a journey of an everyday process that you
mhm,
have to continue to do that work on yourself. You have to continue to be able to acknowledge what has occurred in your life, and bring it into a perspective of what you're wanting to do now. you
mhm,
know
mhm.
that occurred, but what can I learn from that, instead of having a very negative you know play back in your head, and not really moving forward, not growing.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, that comes back to the emotional energy again. If you're vibing low and you're kind of down into fear and apathy,
Hmm.
like I just don't care, or shame or
Hmm.
guilt, even lower, you're gonna receive things and react to things totally different than if you're in emotional energy of acceptance and love and peace.
Hmm.
You're gonna let things roll off, and like someone can speak and he's like, bless them anyway. They could
Hmm.
come disrespect you. It's like, that's I
Yeah.
still see the God in them, bless you anyway, as opposed to, you're down here in the kind of the low vibrational deal, and as soon as something touches you, you're ready to snap. And
Hmm.
you ready to tune right in, because your whole perspective on how you looked at things and reacted to things would be totally different. And
Right.
so this is where a person has to go inside themselves and say, okay, well, that at a time when you felt like if somebody disrespect me, I'm gonna just snap off on them, and then start asking yourself, is that my ego or my soul?
Right.
Because my ego tells me that, but my soul says that walk in peace.
Exactly. Hmm.
And so that's the people don't understand that. They call it,
Hmm.
the devil, God, and the devil within you. This is the laws of polarity, which we call within universal laws. And when people
Hmm.
want to think about God and the devil, this is actually what it is: darkness and light, and everyone
Exactly.
has it within them.
Everybody has it within them.
That's the authentic person. That someone goes to church, all of a sudden, I went to church and I ain't that person no more. We see that you still are. That's the fake
Hmm.
part of you right there, that's telling you that you've all of a sudden decided, you go to church, so now all of a sudden you're not that person anymore. Yes, you are.
Right.
You're still that person inside. It's how you manage that person. It's how you
Exactly.
allow
And
that person to manifest itself on a daily basis. How you live on your emotional energy, on whether you walk around in a high vibration of love and peace, or you walking around thinking about how you can take advantage of people, how you need to lie, how somebody needs to do for you, and if they ain't done for you, then whatever. It all depends on how you're gonna move in life.
right.
you
Right.
know,
You're right.
and
And a lot of times, well, I'm gonna say all the time, it's deeper
mhm.
than you just stop drinking. It's
Oh,
deeper
most
than you
definitely.
just not going to party
Yeah,
anymore. It's
yeah,
deeper than
yeah,
that type of
yeah,
stuff. it's it's
yeah.
it's reaching inside of you.
Hmm. Yeah,
All that
because
inside stuff sometimes that
mhm,
nobody even sees, but
yeah.
it's there.
Yeah, yeah, and they trade it in. See, they feel like
Hmm.
that I gave up one, but then you go over and okay, now you have gluttony. You're eating terribly. You
Hmm.
don't. You're still not loving yourself. You went to
Right.
one place and went and still not loving yourself. You just attend church. You pay your tithe. You're doing whatever.
Hmm.
But where in there did you start changing your mind? Where did you start
Exactly.
developing discipline to the between your soul and your ego? Because then
Right.
we wouldn't have so many people that call themselves calling on God needing help,
Right.
because you would already been helping yourself with the discipline that you had, instead of you being some inauthentic person still doing the things to destroy yourself. But then you come
Right.
back and I need God. So y'all, I need the prayer warriors to come, because I've been not listening to myself and being authentic to me,
Hmm.
and thought enough of myself to do what I needed to do. So now I need to call on something outside of me. In spite of me changing who I was in the beginning, then I would
Right.
not have been in this particular deal. So I
Mhm.
mean, there's no difference between the person who is on the street who's drinking himself and taking drugs, and the person who has diabetes, because
That's right.
they eating plates and eat stopping at Bojangles and everywhere,
Hmm.
or eating basically after Sunday dinner you got your plate packed up like this, knowing that you need to take your diabetes medication and your high blood
Right.
pressure medication. You're still taking drugs too, and they're just giving from
Exactly.
your doctor instead of the cat on the street, but you're both on drugs. and you're both
Exactly.
not living straight. So there's no difference. You just go to, and I used to laugh. I told
Hmm.
you, I probably had a joke, as far as my parents. One parent would go to the liquor house, the other one would go to the church, and neither,
Hmm.
but neither, at the end of the day, they both had issues.
Exactly. Right.
you
It's
know,
no difference. You
yeah,
can't
they
make a
because they
difference.
had. You have to change. You have to, nobody was different direction you go. My father was okay. He was dealing with his through alcohol. My mother was going away hoping that God would take away whatever was
Hmm.
going on. But at
Right.
the end of the day, they both died sick and had problems with them because they never learned to love them.
Exactly. And people want to call that sin.
Oh God.
And that's a whole nother topic. But I
Yeah, I'm
do
saying
want to
let's
point
not
out
open that.
that people want to call that sin, but that is just you not dealing with yourself.
And then
Like
they
you
want to call
said.
they want to say you judging them because
Hmm.
they go into that low vibration emotion of shame and guilt,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you judging me. Well, not basically you say you're supposed to change, but then when someone
Hmm.
points out that you haven't,
Right.
who's the problem here? Like the messenger or the person who's not doing what they're supposed to do. So you have to
Right.
be honest with yourself. It's not to pick on people here. It's not to
Exactly.
like degrade everybody. Because look, the first thing I would say is both of us we come from this. That's why we know about it. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in the whole church. The thing
Yes.
is, to people who, when people talk about these things, like we come from the negative of the negative, we know what it looks like. We
Hmm.
understand how it works in your mental, your spiritual, your mental and your
Hmm.
physical health because we
Exactly.
have experienced it somehow or another. And that's the
Exactly.
thing is why we putting this message out here because things don't change with people until you do. You
Exactly.
cannot pray this away outside of you. You
Right.
have to start going inside of yourself, using these positive affirmations, like you said, starting believing yourself, visualizing yourself doing things, putting action to these things, becoming
Hmm.
what you need to be, and life changes. It's as simple as that.
As simple as that. Try visualizing. I've heard some people say they can't even visualize. What do you mean? It's in you to visualize.
The reaction I give to them is that the intent is more important than the visualization.
Right.
And if your mind is intending on things, quantum physics and things like that, you are sending radio waves from your head. These things are transferred. People have to explain to people we are literally transistor radio. This is why come you feel energies when things are off because your body is transmitting and receiving energies and frequencies.
Right.
The thing is understanding these things and understanding how to utilize them for yourself and understanding how they're affecting you in your own life and how everything being energy, your emotions being the key thing on how stress is killing you and how things you're not happy and not seeing life in
Hmm.
peace and really the heaven on earth instead of the
Hmm.
hell on earth, and not even
Exactly.
understanding that it's hell because we got, especially our people got 400 years of it to where
Hmm.
it's this is what we're doing pretty. They think they're doing pretty good now because you know physically you're driving cars, you're going to work, and you're not in change anymore. But this brain is still
Yeah.
has encapsulated,
The
because
brain. Yeah.
they don't understand that, and with their ancestors, basically, slavery was you don't basically you can have the body, but you don't totally have the person until you have their mind captured.
Right.
And now they still walk around there at the same time, not understanding until you release these things and these traumas and things out of your mind. You have basically what we call the generational curse,
Hmm.
and this is what's passed on within your brain and your DNA system. That's been how it
Yeah.
changes how it expresses itself. But the thing is, the beautiful thing about it is you can change it. It's proven.
You
We have
can.
all the information to show you how you can do it. This is
You
what I
can.
do. You know,
Like just to the science, just to mention some science behind affirmate
with the
positive
next
self
question, which is
affirmations.
the next question, the science behind affirmations. Let's get some of that. I mean, I could, but I need to hear you.
Yes, because we have to understand and realize there's a strong connection between our mind, and our body. Like
Right?
your body is not doing anything that your mind is not actually telling it to do. You know what I'm saying? So the brain changes the way it perceives information all the time. That's nothing new. For the better of positive thinking. That's what positive self affirmations will do. It
Right.
changes your brain.
Yeah,
That
be
is
wiser.
a that is done through neuroplasticity.
Exactly. Exactly.
Neuroplasticity
Exactly.
is that technique. According to research on self affirmation theory, there is MRI evidence
Mhm.
that proves
Yeah. Without a
that
shadow of a doubt.
that proves that certain neural pathways in your
Mhm.
brain
Mhm.
change when you go from negative thinking to positive thinking
Mhm.
on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And we're talking about someone that's doing this maybe 2 or 3 times a day.
Mhm.
It changes your brain. It
Mhm.
changes some of the functions of
Mhm.
your brain system.
Right.
So it that is proven.
Right.
It
And then
works.
so let me add to that, because this is an area that I have to continually talk to people about
Hmm.
when you add the brain, but then once that brain, you change your brain, it activates, helps activate what we call brain heart coherence.
Hmm.
And your heart generates the largest electromagnetic field. And
Right.
so this heart, when you have these positive feelings, you are emitting a field of consciousness outside of your body that basically affects your health and everybody else's around it. But
Hmm.
that's also case in point when we see people, places where people living in kind of, we would call, negative situations, where
Hmm.
their thought process of their thinking creates a environment of this thought process, because each person is
Hmm.
generating an electromagnetic field. I mean, you can literally
Hmm.
see if a person comes around and they will be
Hmm.
positive, they'd be like, man, get out of here. You literally hear people say, why you gotta be positive? Because they
Right.
are emitting this frequency from their brain heart coherence. And so they
Hmm.
can't tune in anything else because they're
Hmm.
tuned into this. So
Right.
literally, this process, this neuroplasticity, it starts a process within that body to actually have you. When we're talking about manifestation, you cannot manifest good things from a negative thought process.
That's right. You
It
can't be
will,
low vibrational. You cannot be low vibrational and
yeah,
manifest anything other than what you're dealing with, low
yeah,
vibrations.
right. You match the frequency of the mindset that you have. And
Hmm.
so it's not the devil doing it to you. It's not
Right.
something else outside of doing it to you. It is your mind creating your reality. It is
Exactly.
as simple as that. I mean,
It's
you want to blame things. I understand, people. But the thing is what you're blaming is a mindset that's been passed on to you to blame these things. So
hmm
this is how you perceive reality to be. The man has his foot on your neck, or whatever else you're telling yourself on why it
hmm
is that you're not doing what you need to get done right now, and why you can't do a thing. It is your mind.
it is your
And
mind. People walk around thinking that they just going through, like everybody just
yeah,
going through stuff.
yeah, yeah. I just want to get through
Everybody's
this life.
always everybody's always prepared to suffer in this
Yeah,
life.
yeah. Right,
I mean,
right.
prepared to suffer.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Not
mean,
trying, not.
people really need to think about that.
Well, when you think about preparing to suffer, then you definitely cannot have your mind thinking about abundance.
No.
And like, I see myself, being everything that I know I can be.
Right.
But and then you have people with a mindset of straight survival,
Yeah.
where they're using things that have passed on to them through their epigenetics, but it no longer serves them anymore. That's why you
Right.
have people that are eating foods like chitlins and things like that, as if they don't have any other foods to eat.
Right.
But this was passed on through their ancestors of
Generation.
survival, when they're not even living in this situation anymore, but they're so
Hmm.
programmed to believe, because of what they have been taught. Like, if you can take them right now, and the same thing as the people were doing 100 years ago, these people are
Hmm.
still doing the same thing, even though they're supposed to be more educated than no, because it doesn't
Right.
matter. It is within your mind, and until you
Exactly.
deprogram it, it's going to keep passing on to your kids, and you're going to
I'm.
keep. It's literally a mental illness that you're passing on to your
Mhm.
kids. And in the day, a low vibration, negative mindset. I mean, some of our people say, for instance, they even can put themselves in a box and try to say you're not acting black. So in it, all of that,
Mhm.
usually when acting black usually comes out to be something negative. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hmm.
This is a mind. If
Yeah.
you think these things, this is your reality. So clearly you can't even see a person who doesn't articulate himself well as being black, because you have a negative thought process of not only that person but your own self.
Exactly. it is. It's so deep. It is so
Very,
deep,
very,
y'all.
very.
And that this is why we are here to educate
Mhm.
everyone, because everybody walking
Yeah,
has this type of mental
yeah.
illness.
Well, yeah.
It
I
is a
mean,
type of mental illness. Like,
we're giving them a peek, but I'll be touching on a future episode about
yeah,
the mental illness within this country and the
yeah,
correlations that go along with the mental illness and it's the steady rise of it that it continues to go. And then let's look at some of the things, the staples of this country to see what correlates with that. So I
right,
won't let the cat out the bag right now, but
right.
we kind of touching on some stuff
Hmm.
enough, you know, but we'll get deeper in another episode,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Well, what are some different types of positive self affirmations?
There's so many. You can use an affirmation for whatever you want to use it to for. Affirmations for confidence, for your confidence, building that confidence. Maybe you don't have enough, don't have it, building it. Self-love affirmations. All of them are self-love, but there are particular self-love affirmations. Peaceful affirmations. You want to manifest peace in your life. There's affirmations for motivation affirmations. Can't get motivated? There's affirmations for that you can use each and every day to help you get motivated. Remember, you have to say these things, and it's best to say them out loud
Yeah.
because it is a frequency that
Exactly.
goes out into the
Exactly.
universe. So
Exactly.
it's best to say them out loud. You can
Exactly.
say them to yourself, but to get that extra confidence and that extra boost in boosting you up, it's
Mhm.
best to say them out loud.
Mhm.
um Prosperity affirmations, you're wanting to be prosperous in maybe your businesses or just your personal life, whatever the case may be. There's affirmations for that. So it's all types of affirmations that you can repeat.
Mhm.
And they all do the same thing, but as long as you're repeating them to yourself, as long as you are knowing
Mhm.
that they are you in the
Mhm.
present moment,
Right.
and as long as you have the intent in order to visualize
Right. Right.
that you are in that spot. Let's
Mhm.
say you're wanting a new job. If you're saying an affirmation, I am wealthy, I am prosperous in my business, I am prosperous in my new job, and you can visualize that new job while you're saying
Exactly.
it, it
Right.
works best when you do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, give us some you got any things you can leave with the audience, something they can kind of work with, because and the thing is that was another thing Tenant brought my
Hmm.
attention, that something that I had learned some years ago, even before I became licensed and all that this stuff, but it was still simple that a person, if they had one negative mindset, thought process, immediately replace it with three positive ones.
Hmm.
you know, because
Hmm.
a person is retraining their brain,
Right.
but if they become conscious of these thoughts, because you first have to be conscious of
You
yourself.
do. You do.
And see, that's the part about things. Your people are walking around in unconscious mindsets. You kind of just doing things you kind
Hmm.
without really thinking about it. Because most people, that's why they don't like change, because they're used to
Hmm.
doing the repetitive thing. After they get used to it, and something happens, all
Hmm.
of a sudden, oh, what happened? But if a
Right.
person is sitting here and they're going through, they're able to kind of look at themselves and get back to how they can retrain this brain to kind of get back to thinking, you know, okay, I caught myself. Now let
Hmm.
me get this affirmation going.
Right.
Three affirmations. After a while, you start retraining your brain to first catch yourself and
Hmm.
then be able to reframe your brain to a positive thought process. But again,
Yeah.
back to being conscious of the moment. That's the
Hmm.
people need to be more conscious of themselves and your
Hmm.
emotions and your thought process, because you have this monkey mind going on throughout the
Hmm.
day. And if you're not, it's controlling you if you're not aware of it. So
Right.
being
That's a
able to,
part of the shadow work that you
well,
have to
exactly.
do for yourself, becoming conscious of what you're thinking,
Well,
how
that's
you're
the
acting, what you say, how you
yeah,
say
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
all of that is on the individual person. You can't pray this stuff into existence.
Well, back to that
It
again.
is all on you
Back
because
to
it's
that
all
again.
in you.
Back to that. But see, you see, we keep coming back to things that a person
Exactly.
has to do. They have to do for themselves.
Right.
And the
Right.
thing is like I got, because I have all kinds of ways to show this science on how they have the healing within them, and they don't have to look outside of themselves. But again, until they get past this generational, mind control that they have been dealing with, that you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't possibly have that in you. This low
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem that you have about, that's walking around within that you couldn't see yourself in this light. You have to begin
Mm-hmm.
to walk in this light to
Mm-hmm.
beginning to see the light. But that's that becomes with, it is a part of, like, you shadow
Right.
work is being conscious of
Exactly.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's you have to be conscious, and you're not gonna like a lot of things. That's why going to
Mm-hmm.
sit with yourself, because a lot of people are running away. That's why they don't want to meditate. They don't want to sit. They go on trips. They go on
Right.
everything. They got to do something. Got to go through Facebook. Got to do everything besides go inside of them, because they don't want to deal with what's inside. They're trying to. That's why alcohol, drugs, and things like that are coming to play, because a person is trying not to deal with what's in them, so they keep suppressing
Exactly.
it. And
Right.
so until they get past that part, it's gonna be, it's gonna be hard to get through anything, because you're not being conscious to actually start working yourself, to start reprogramming yourself. So,
Right.
consciousness is definitely what we want to stress here, is that
Mm-hmm.
looking at yourself, you know, basically being conscious of yourself, but give yourself grace, because nobody's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing.
That's
Like,
right.
everyone, the way how you get better is working on you, and knowing that everyone who's done anything at all had to work on them to get there. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
no one is, and whether you find to be mistakes, no mistake, there are no mistakes. There are learning. There are opportunities
Exactly.
to learn.
Right.
These are coming with your mindset, and stop thinking of being ashamed. Well, I was wrong. Well, no, you just learned better. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You see how
Right.
you start reframing these positive ways of thinking,
Yeah.
instead of, looking at this. It's all about how you're looking at things, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
come to acceptance on some things, to start working through, getting to know actually who you are, instead of trying to, like, afraid of, like, looking at the person that you haven't been all your life, and being
Mm-hmm.
ashamed of that, and then just not want to shut down and don't want to deal with it.
Right.
And you just keep creating more of the same, and clearly you're living in anxiety and depression about both of them, because you're not living your life like you really should be living it, and you're
Right.
looking for something or someone to come
Mm-hmm.
along and to just
Mm-hmm.
somehow change it, when I am is the only one who can.
That's right. I am is the only one that can change you. Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, leave us with some
Yeah.
affirmation that, the audience, to have something to take with them.
Okay. Yes. I have a few affirmations that you can repeat to yourself daily, 2 to 3 times a day. You can make them very personal, although the ones I have are already personal. They are I ams. But you have to feel them with your whole entire soul, your whole mind. You have to feel them and know that that is the person you already are.
Exactly.
not
Exactly.
not the person you
Exactly.
wish
You
to
have to be in the
be,
moment.
you wish to
Right.
be the
This is right.
person you already are right now at
Exactly.
the present
See,
moment.
see yourself as that person, and it
Hmm.
feel a little odd at the time, because it's gonna feel like you're lying to yourself. But you keep seeing yourself, visualizing yourself. Remember, when you're training your brain, after a
Right.
while, it becomes you. And
Hmm.
so just get past the
Yeah.
awkward feeling. It's something that you're not used to, because you're probably not used to talking to yourself positive anyway.
Right.
So
Out
looking at it,
loud.
right, you might feel a little funny about it. You're afraid that people might hear you, because they so negative. They like, what you just tell yourself.
This is
Forget
Look.
forget about all that.
Right. This is something that you can do in the comfort of your own home, your bathroom. Get in your mirror
Yeah,
in your bathroom, shut the
yeah,
door. No
yeah.
one can hear you. You don't
Hmm.
have to be all extra loud with it. You just need to say
And
it.
let me tell you, I come from that holiness. So as much as
Mhm.
my mother used to walk around, saying all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
outside of them, they definitely
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have a problem by saying something to them,
Exactly.
to inside of them. You know, the same way you were talking outside of you,
Yeah,
turn it around, because
it's
that's
the
what he meant.
same. That's
That's
right.
exactly what it meant. You don't
Yes.
find no scripture saying, call on me outside of you. No biblical person can find it. Nothing said it
Right.
other than a man who told you to do it.
A man. That's
That's why
right.
come everything said I am. It has nothing to do
Mm-hmm.
with something outside of you.
Right.
So, you know, at the
So,
end of the,
I'm sorry. You
oh, go
still
right ahead. I was just talking. We're looking for you to leave us with something.
okay? So I'm gonna leave you with a few affirmations. Leave everybody with a few, and you like I said, you can go inside your bathroom, look in the mirror. You can, sit Indian style on the carpet. You can lie down on your back on your bed and have your eyes closed. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can say these in the car on your way to work. It doesn't matter how you do it. But as long as you incorporate them at least 2 to 3 times a day, and expect
Exactly.
what you are saying. So
Well, that's where belief comes in. But the thing
that's
is,
right.
they started belief outside of them. Let's take all those instructions again
Mm-hmm.
and put them to the God that's
and,
within you.
and that's right. So the first one I have is, I believe in myself and I trust my own wisdom. Okay, I am a successful person. All of these are present tense.
Yeah.
I am healthy. And you can say them twice, 3 times, or one
Mhm.
time. It doesn't matter. I am confident and capable at what I do. I am prosperous. I am love. And remember, these affirmations don't work if you don't know for yourself that you are prosperous.
Well, you gotta see
If you
yourself.
don't know for yourself that you are love, they don't work.
They
Um,
have to go through that process in the beginning, though. It's gonna feel
right,
like some lies, but you have to continue to
right.
go. But you have to continue to see yourself in that moment.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah,
yeah.
right. So, I am kindness. I am greatness.
Mhm,
I am the architect of my life.
mhm.
Okay. Everything always works out for me. I am resilient. I am strong. I am brave. I choose to be happy. I choose to be happy. I am gifted with and surrounded by amazing family and friends. I am in charge of my thoughts. I don't judge myself. I accept and love myself thoroughly and completely. I am peace. I am calm.
Okay.
And
Okay.
all of those affirmations, and you can just pick and choose whichever ones you want to say to yourself every day. It's the intent behind them,
Mhm,
and then followed by the action, and
mhm.
they will definitely uplift your spirits. They will uplift you. They will take you possibly from a lower vibration to a higher vibration, because you're speaking them into yourself
Right.
and you're believing it and
Right.
you're knowing it for yourself.
Exactly.
um so yeah, they are positive self affirmations are very positive, and they work.
Yeah. 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 Powerful. They're very
Powerful,
powerful.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Very a very interesting show.
It
We left them.
was.
Yeah. We
I've
definitely
discovered a
enjoyed it.
passion for it, discovered a passion just for helping people, period.
Yeah.
But
Right.
especially now, that we are educating people on their emotional energy and how they can better help themselves with that, and how they can heal themselves from all of this stuff, all of these
Right.
traumas. You can heal your own self from them.
Right. Exactly. Well, tell everyone how they can contact you before we sign out. So
So yes, I do have a Facebook page and an email.